The long-awaited summer is finally here. Now before you head out, let's talk quickly about heat safety for older adults. Heat illness is preventable, so it helps to understand what it is and what you can do to stay well. So how hot is too hot? Experts call it an extreme heat event. Most people call it a heat wave. But what's too hot changes from person to person and depends on what you're used to. In Manitoba, we have both the extremes of cold and the extremes of heat, and we never seem to get used to either one. In hot, humid countries, the bar for too hot may be way hotter than it would ever get in Manitoba. But even within Manitoba, a heat wave up in the north may not be considered a heat wave in the south. This is because our bodies go through acclimatization. These are changes in our body that occur over the first few weeks of summer as we get used to heat. You may have noticed that high temperatures in the spring are more stressful for us than in the late summer. Acclimatization takes at least a couple of weeks at the beginning of the heat season. This is because our bodies go through acclimatization. These are changes in our body that occur over the first few weeks of summer as we get used to heat. You may have noticed that high temperatures in the spring are more stressful for us than in the late summer. Thermoregulation is how our bodies stay a safe temperature. There are adjustments that happen when we are hot or cold, like shivering in the winter. When it's hot, our body has to work harder to keep the temperature normal. Sweating cools the body surface, and this means we use up more water from our body. The heart has to move more fluid and pumps harder. And anything that makes the heart work harder makes our lungs work harder to get enough oxygen to the body. It's important to know that as we age, our body doesn't sense heat as well as it used to. Your body's cooling functions may not kick in or work as well, and extreme heat can overpower your ability to stay cool. So how can you manage your risk? Hot temperatures can be more dangerous if you have breathing problems, heart problems, kidney problems, cognitive impairment, or a mental illness. Being on medications for these conditions can also increase risk. It's a good idea to talk to your doctor or pharmacist about your medications, and do not stop taking them on your own. People living in personal care homes would not have had an opportunity to acclimate to the high temperatures, and they may also have conditions or take medications that put them at a higher risk for heat-related injury. So what are heat-related illnesses? Heat illnesses include heat exhaustion, heat fainting, heat edema or swelling of the hands, feet, and ankles, heat rash, heat cramps, and heat stroke. This is the most dangerous. Heat stroke is a medical emergency. If someone is very confused or loses consciousness with little or no sweating or hot, dry skin in extreme heat, call 911. While waiting, keep them as cool as possible. Heat exhaustion comes before heat stroke. At this point, the person may feel dizzy and be sweating a lot, have clammy, pale skin, or muscle cramps. As it goes on, dizziness may become headache, and sweating may stop, and they may have hot, red, dry skin, or ultimately lose consciousness. In both cases, take measures to cool the person, and if they're confused or losing consciousness, call an ambulance. If you're ever unsure what to do, you can always call HealthLinks Info Santé at 204-788-8200 or 1-888-315-9257. Let's take a look at some things that you can do to stay safe when it's hot. Because remember, prevention before you feel unwell is the key. Check the news and weather before heading out for the day and plan accordingly. If the heat is too great, indoor plans may be better. Keep this in mind when planning to visit friends or family living in personal care homes. Check the daily weather forecast, including the Humidex. The Humidex considers temperature and humidity together. The more humid it is, the hotter it feels. And check for warnings about air quality or the UV index, as well as other weather warnings. Make sure to keep hydrated, drinking water throughout the day. Do this before you feel thirsty, as it helps to prevent dehydration. Older adults may have a reduced thirst drive, so make sure to drink whether you think you need to or not. It's very important. And water is not the only thing that hydrates. You can also get hydration from fruit, soup, jello, popsicles, and other drinks. And high caffeine drinks do not dehydrate you, contrary to popular belief, although there may be more healthy choices. And when you're out in the heat, try to reduce your activity level and stay in the shade. Wear a hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen, and seek places with air conditioning, like malls or libraries. And schedule outdoor activities for cooler times of the day. There are some things you can do to keep your home cool. If you have air conditioning, make sure that it works and use it. If not, here are some other ideas. You can use a fan, put ice in front of it, and place them near windows or in hallways to create the best airflow. You can use a dehumidifier to make it less hot. Turn on your bathroom fans or your exhaust fan in your kitchen. This will pull the hot air out of the house. Open your windows at night and draw the blinds in the hottest parts of the day. Try having foods that don't require a stove or an oven to reduce the heat in your home, and keep the baking and washing for the evening. And when things do get too hot, water activities or taking frequent showers or baths with tepid or cool water is always a great solution. And check your symptoms, check on others, and have others check on you. Remember, heat illness is preventable. Don't let things get too far when it's hot. Think and plan ahead.